That's our response. Like another thing that not one freaking building needed to be boarded up. Not one town went into flames. There's no riots, like there's no protest or none of that. What did we do? We showed up to the masses in church. We came together collectively. We held vigils. To even argue that is just, it blows my mind. But you have to understand, some of these people are so far gone. It's like arguing with a narcissist. You are never, ever, 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 ever gonna get them to turn around and say, maybe we got this one wrong.
God is going to take a man like that. There has to be a reason. Right. What is the reason? Is his legacy, the impact that he had, and how he's going to turn. It's a turning point. It really is. It's a turning point for the country and for a lot of non-believers.
They'll double down. They'll triple down, like Ilhan Omar. My gosh, that woman, the darling of the Democratic Party. Like, our darling was Charlie Kirk. Your darling is that person? You should be embarrassed. I can't wrap my head around this, but I think you have to just realize there's just no saving those people. You might as well talk to a brick wall, because the brick wall's not gonna shoot you in the face.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode of
Girl, bye.
I'm Mick.
And I'm Amanda.
And we're here to talk about some heavy stuff today, probably a lot heavier than we thought we were going to talk about on our second episode. But here we are, and we can't stay silent after recent events that have affected the whole country.
Yeah, we were actually filming our first podcast when that news broke in the middle of it. So we kind of left it was a week ago almost.
Yeah, a week ago from yesterday. We wrapped, we were talking about it, and my mom comes in and says, guys, I have some really bad news. Charlie Kirk has just been shot. And at the time, we didn't know that he had passed. He was in critical condition, but we were stunned, and none of us could really speak. We were heartbroken. We were shocked. We were scared, looking for answers, and we kind of all just solemnly left, and later on found out that he didn't make it, which was devastating. I think part of me really believed that God would save him. Yeah, I feel like his voice was so powerful, and he had such a calling and such a mission that I believed, okay, the whole country's praying, we're praying, God's gonna save this man. He's not done yet. But obviously, God had different plans, and he is going to turn all of it for good, all of this.
Did you you didn't see the video?
I didn't. I remember coming back into the room, and you had just seen it, or Dad had just shown you. Mom said, I don't want to see it. And I said, I don't want to see it either, and I left. But unfortunately, with social media, we're forced to see things that maybe we didn't really want to see. And I later on saw where my husband was like, oh my gosh, they literally show, it is so graphic. It is so, and it is just point blank, everything in cold blood. You see it there, and it's alarming, because I feel like we're not meant to see those things on social media. We're not meant to see that and
witness of
scroll.
Public execution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then just scroll to it's just mind-blowing, because unfortunately I feel like we have gotten to the point of where we have, because the country has become so desensitized to this stuff. It's crazy. And I wish I didn't see it. I really do.
I think there's pros and cons, though. It's unfortunate. My 13-year-old daughter saw it. Definitely wasn't going to send it to her. And yes, she's on Instagram. That's for a whole nother thing. She's 13. But I think there's two kind of ways to look at it. I feel like he was so much more personable, because he could be in your living room. He could be wherever you are. You're watching his videos, you're scrolling, you're seeing him, even if you don't know him personally.
Mm-hmm.
And then to see that happen, I think that kind of almost incites you to just be a little bit more not angry, but okay, I had to witness that, but maybe that's kind of what it took for me to have a little bit of courage and not just be quiet anymore. And the only reason why I think we were quiet, and when we first sat down, we said we don't want to talk politics. Mm-hmm. Because again, it's such a contentious, acrimonious conversation. You can't even say your opinions without having this back and forth. Like you lose friends over it. So we were just like, let's stay away from politics. But after that, this is not just a political conversation, although like it was a political death. I don't want to say that it wasn't. Now it's like, okay, this guy had courage for his faith. And if there's one thing that we can do, we have to keep like having the conversation and not be afraid to lose like an audience. Like, because if that's what's going to happen, I want to be on the right side of history. This is like a pivotal moment. So,
I mean, going back to what you just said, like when I was younger, I mean, I had friends of all different colors, races, religions. I thought I was Jewish for a second because all my friends were Jewish and I wanted to be like them. Like, I just feel like the world has turned such a way where it is so divisive. Like, I do have friends on the left that I absolutely love. I listen to their opinion, but sadly enough, if I say something, I will, well, why didn't you talk about this? And why didn't you talk about that? And why didn't you talk about, and oh, you say you're a Christian and this, that. They're so argumentative and so quick to be filled with anger over your freedom of speech. But
a minute,
I feel like we are so, like, I have so many Christian friends that are friends with everyone. And the church is accepting and welcoming of everyone. Charlie Kirk was, first and foremost. I mean, he welcomed every single person to the stage to debate him with open arms. And he never set out to humiliate them or, you know, debunk them with anything other than facts and his biblical teachings, which he stood on no matter what. He wasn't going to back down from that. But the things that people are saying, that he was racist and he was a bigot, and he couldn't have been farther from the truth. And they're picking out little clips and clips and clips and taking
not
everything
watching the whole
so out of
video.
context. And it, unfortunately, it's just ignorance. Like, sadly enough, like I don't want to insult anyone's intelligence, but if you watch all of these and you fully understand what he's saying, for you to say he was a racist, when he's sitting there smiling, looking at a African-American baby saying what a blessing from God that is, or, you know, people on his staff. He has so many Blacks on his staff working for him. The guy that was his right-hand man that would debate with him. Like, it's just insane to say the things that they're saying. And it's really angering people on the conservative side because we know it's just radical.
And they're the biggest hypocrites.
Exactly.
They're biggest hypocrites. That's what's so infuriating and frustrating. It's so hypocritical, and they're grasping at straws now with, you know, their different excuses for what happened. And it's just like Gladiator said, like, the time for half measures is over. Like, it's just, I don't even want to like hear those people anymore. And there's some, thankfully, I think one of the good things that are coming out of this there's some radical liberals, like especially in Hollywood, that are kind of saying like,
what the heck?
What the hell is going on?
Yeah.
Like, I think Rainn Wilson said something like, you know, I was at a dinner and I'm overhearing this conversation, and like, that is not something that we should be saying.
Yeah.
Like, Michael Rappaport was like, you know, a couple of years ago, he was in a totally different space. So it's good to see that there are some liberals out there who are saying, wait a second, and maybe they don't believe in all of the things that we do fundamentally, but at least there's like a common ground that this is not a basis for a reason to kill somebody.
No,
period.
and to back it up even further, it's like, it shouldn't even be right versus left, like Republican versus Democrat. It is a human life.
Right.
And we talk about freedom of speech, and that is why we live in the great nation of America, because we are given that freedom. And then someone is killed over it, and people are dancing on his grave and celebrating it because they didn't agree with what he said, and because they have something built up in their own mind because the media has incited this anger and this fire and this just opposition from one side.
That's where that becomes political, though.
I know, but the thing is, it's a human life. Like, even if I don't like certain people in the Democratic Party one bit, and, you know, I'm not like Dad, where Dad gets fiery and Dad will call everyone out, and Dad is the best for that. But like, I wouldn't want to see any one of them dead. And I think one thing that really hit me, because I am not political at all. I vote based on being a conservative, being a Republican, being a Christian, and I look at my values and my morals and what that aligns with the most. And maybe and now I'm like, I need to do more research. I need to get more involved. I need to actually listen to what dad has been saying to us for the last few years. And normally I'm like, dad, okay, okay. And he's been so worried about the temperature of our country and worried about, he goes, I worry for you kids and I worry for your kids and the kids, because he sees the way the country is turning. But what really like just caught my eye and my ears so much over the last week is so many on that side, the Democrats, liberals, getting so angry. Like, why are you guys celebrating this person? Why are you holding vigils for him? Why are you commemorating him? Why didn't you do this for the 2 Democrats that were shot in their home? And I want to be like, why
Why
didn't
didn't you? Exactly. Why
you're
didn't you?
so angry that we
Yeah,
are
you didn't say
rallying behind a person that we believed in, that incited so much in us because we didn't celebrate someone you think should have been commemorated, but you didn't do it either. You
right.
didn't hold vigils.
That's their
You didn't
hypocrisy.
come
You
on
can't listen
Instagram or
to anything
TikTok
that they say.
and talk about their
Yeah.
memory
Why
and
didn't
say
you
how
lead the
horrible.
charge?
Because we all know why now because of who actually did it,
They
and
didn't
how it
give a
actually
shit, to
happened.
be honest, when
They
those
didn't.
people died. They didn't.
Exactly.
So now it's a convenient topic for them to say, well, why didn't you do it for this person? Well, why didn't you? Why
And the
didn't you?
reality of that too is they didn't have the impact that Charlie Kirk had.
No,
Not
I wanted to
look,
say, like, girl,
yeah.
bye. Like, this person was not as influential on both sides, and that's what made him a target, is because he was changing minds on either
He was
side.
scaring them.
He was
He
scaring them,
rallying
yeah,
us,
and
and
especially the youth. He had such an impact on the youth,
yeah,
and they know, once you start pulling the youth, then
that's the
you're
future.
exactly.
And you even said with Olivia, like
Yeah,
she was so affected by
she was
it.
so affected when I was like, I said it to her, and I'm like, I know she's gonna know who this person is, and she was like, oh my gosh, I loved watching him clock people, like that is like something that she enjoyed. So
Yeah.
she was really upset, and she's like, OMG, I watched the video, I was hoping she didn't. She's like, I can't even like I just can't even like wrap my head around that. And then even later in the day, because I'm like, okay, she's still 13. So she was with her dad Wednesdays, so I always text her before bed. And I said to her, I'm like, hey baby, how was your day? Did you have a good day? And I was kind of reeling still about what happened. And she's like, besides the fact that I saw somebody get, shot and killed. And I was like, oh, okay. Because,
Yeah.
13-year-olds, you have these like lunatic kids who are dancing on graves because they're just full of ignorance, a lot of rage and no wisdom. So I expected Olivia, because in our home, like, we're empathetic and compassionate, but sometimes it's like in one ear and out the other for a kid. And she was like, no, like, besides of that. And I was like, that's an obvious answer, but I was just really happy to see it. And then that night too, she texted me, she said, we should definitely go to church on Sunday. Like, that was something that she said. And because we, I hate to say it, we missed a couple of weeks, and I was just happy to hear that from her. Like,
Yeah,
that
was
was
her response.
that was her response. Exactly. Like, that's our response.
Yeah.
Like, another thing, that not one freaking building needed to be boarded up.
No
Not one
riots,
town went
no
into flames. There's no riots. Like, there's no protest or none of that. What did we do? We showed up to the masses in church. We came together collectively. We held vigils. Like, to even argue that is just, oh, it blows my mind. But you have to understand, some of these people are so far gone. It's like arguing with a narcissist. You are never, ever, 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 ever going to get them to turn around and say, maybe we got this one wrong. Never. You can show them proof. And that's what's so awesome about Jimmy Kimmel getting fired. I'm sorry, but you want to sit there and say, we're not sure, this could be girl bye.
Yeah.
Girl bye. Like, this was a long time coming anyways, to say that. And it's not the cancel culture, because cancel culture, if you remember, they went looking for stuff that you did years ago.
Yeah.
It was like, let me go find something she said 10 years ago and let's cancel them.
Yeah.
They were seeking that because they're so freaking miserable. He said it in plain sight. We didn't have to search for anything. The hate was right there.
Yeah.
And it's not a cancel culture. It's consequence culture.
Yeah.
You say like that, that's what's going to happen. You're free to say it, but you're going to have
consequences.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, it's just good to see things like that. Our voice is changing things in a way where we're getting rid of stuff. We're not looting. We're not rioting. We're not stomping on great. We're not doing any of that stuff.
And people are saying, okay, so you can get canceled or whatever, fired for freedom of speech. And I want to be like, well, imagine dying for it.
Exactly.
This man died for it a week ago for something you're so angered about because someone's getting fired.
Yeah.
Like, it's so hypocritical.
They're-
It's whenever it's in their favor, the tables flip.
Uh.
Like, everything is changing. And I've had friends be like, well, what do you guys do about it? Like, you just pray. There's no action. And I'm like, so there's no, like you said, there's no riots, there's no
Right.
protesting, there's no looting. Prayer, like, which we believe is the most powerful thing, we don't need to take action. That is our action, is more than anything else we could do.
And there is action. There's 50,000, I think, new chapters opened up. So there is action. Our call to action just isn't violence. It's everything that you say that we are, and it's not that.
It's not.
The call to action is prayer and going to church and reading our Bibles. And like, I purchased the Declaration of Independence. I purchased a book.
Yeah.
Because I was like, you know what? I don't even know my rights that well. Like, I don't even really know the Bill of Rights that well. And I don't want to be like one of these ignoramuses with like all this passion and no like intellect, because that's dangerous.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm purchasing this. I started reading it. I purchased a study guide for my Bible. That's our call to action.
Yeah.
That's what's going to make the change, over a long period of time, and getting our youth really involved. And as parents, our call to action is, like, I got to see what's happening in these schools. Like, I got to talk to her now about college.
Well, I mean, that was like one thing Charlie said the most. He's like, put the security in our schools. It's in the airports. It's at the banks. He's like, you care about protecting your money more than your kids. Like, all of this Second Amendment rights thing. It's like, he wanted to protect the kids. He wanted to, protect everyone and let people talk peacefully. And to call him a fascist when the gun that was used to kill him and everything, casings, fascist, that they are exactly what they say we are.
Yeah.
And we're not. And what he wasn't.
The reason why they don't care, and this is like the biggest discrepancy, because all of the elites on the liberal side, they have protection for their kids because they're rich. They don't give a shit about the average liberal. They just don't. So they have those protections. Their kids are in private schools. Like, they have, security around them 24/7. So they're not going to ever live those consequences because they're elite.
Yeah.
So they want that for themselves, but they don't really care.
Yeah.
They don't care. So it's scary, but I'm glad we're talking about, I guess, positives that are coming out of this.
I think another call to action, like you're saying, is people speaking up. Like,
yeah.
And even I want to say, like, I feel empowered. I feel like I need to be bold. It was almost like a wake up call to me. Like, I feel like we do have a sphere of influence, however small it is, to just wake up and see what's actually going on and have a voice, and not let dad and all the people around us have the voice. It's like, actually, like you said, know what I'm talking about.
Right.
Have the facts to defend it, just like Charlie did. He didn't just spew venom. This.
He's so freaking smart.
So smart. I'm blown away every time I
on.
watch him. I'm just like, his responses for everything were like so sharp, and they were factual, and that he could recall verses like this, and he could recall, things in legislation, and like, it was just insane. Like, he
no
was
one
literally
like that.
There's not ever going to be anyone like him. And that's why I can't understand why people don't see why we're so just devastated by this,
because they're miserable, empty human beings. Look, it's so crazy. You watch these videos, right? And I'm just like, these social media videos of these liberals like crashing out. First of all, they have 12 different hair colors. Okay. There's piercings. Not all of them look like that, but a majority of them do. They're furry. I don't even know what communities they freaking think they belong into. I can't keep track at this point. But I'm just like, you really thought about, let me set my little tripod up and let me like spew this venom because people really need to hear this. Like, what? Like, you really thought that your like voice is so important that you have to get out on Instagram and crash out? Like, people need to hear it. It's so unbelievably delusional to me. Like, how do you think you're so important that people need to see you act like a freaking moron? You're crying, you're screaming, you're basically spitting in people's faces almost. Like, you're laughing like a damn devil. Like,
it's like a lack of humanity.
It's
just like,
they're
it is
brainwashed.
People.
They're brainwashed. Most of these people, in 2015, let's say, there were kids, young adults, teenagers. COVID happened. They got nothing to do but just scroll, 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 scroll. Then you have all these liberal lunatics, high-powered liberal lunatics saying rhetoric like threat to democracy, fascist, Nazi. Like, when you hear that over and over and over again, this is the result 5, 6, 7 years later. This is what's happening. And it's absolutely absurd. I don't like 5, 10 years ago, I was probably a little bit more leftist. Not 5 years ago. I would say 10 years ago. When I had kids, like that's when things kind of changed. But now, forget it. Forget it. Like there's not even something that I can even come to terms with on that side.
Oh, no.
It's just not even like, again, politics aside, it's just more of like a moral compass.
Yeah.
Period. And it's just like,
and so the like opposite of what you're saying, like I'm seeing so many people of every different race and color, of every different like gender, of every different, just on the other side of what you think that people are saying, Charlie's racist, Charlie was homophobic, all this stuff. I'm seeing those people, homosexuals, blacks, defending
like, we're gay, we're not stupid.
Exactly, because they're intelligent. That's
right.
what I was gonna say. Like they are just looking at this, like looking at their people who they think, they're like, how could you be on his side? How they're like, because I have a brain and I use it, and I also am a human, and I have humanity, and I have morals and values, and I may not have agreed with everything Charlie Kirk said, but what they are saying is so, like you said, it's so ridiculous that it's delusional. It's evil.
They literally need to open the mental institutes.
Yeah.
It's
a lot of mental health.
I'm like, I'm not one for politics because I just don't care to deal with these people. Like I'm like in my firm in my ways and my beliefs, but we have, you know, one of our best family friends who's very much on the other side, and her and I are still very, very close, and I can entertain a conversation with her. No problem. I don't take it personally. Like if I made it a divisive line, then I would say, now, granted, on this issue, not a word. Because I think, you know, there's some like respect for each other to a certain extent. But I'm just like, I don't care. Now I have zero patience. Zero freaking patience. Don't want to hear it. Like I'm not as nice and as calm and as patient as Charlie Kirk and all these other people. I have just zero time for it. I just think that they need to get their like shit together because they are scary. Scary. Like if I see somebody like that coming, I'm like, nope. I don't want you spitting in my face. Like,
no, they're
like how some of these people are going out and like, I'm praying for you. And I'm just like, girl, you're just sitting there and they're like this close, spitting in your face. Like I would just like start throwing it. I would just be like, because that's just not like, but I'm hoping because I, you know, educating myself and really coming back to, you know, things that I have strayed away from a long time, reading my Bible, getting to know the Constitution. I want to know it really well. Hopefully that'll allow me to speak with patience and be understanding and try and follow in, you know, Charlie's footsteps that way. Because right now it's just like,
I mean, the amount of things that have happened in the last few weeks, even Irina Zarutska, like how she flees her country to be safe and free and comes here and is riding a train or a bus home from work where everyone who knew her in her community said she was so kind. She was like just artistic. She was like a beautiful person. She came here to work hard, and the horror that happened to her and the people that just sat around and didn't even check to see if she was okay. And what blew my mind, actually, is I didn't find out about the Irina situation until the Charlie Kirk stuff came out. I don't watch the news that often. I don't know. It just really makes me sad, and it kind of scares me. And that was also a wake-up call. I need to know what's going on in this world, in this country especially. But I found out, I was like, oh my gosh, that happened in the same week. No, it happened on August 22nd. It was like 10 days later that it was coming out about her. Why?
Because it doesn't fit their storyline.
Matter because she wasn't an African American, because like
doesn't fit their storyline.
If that was the reversal, there would have been an outrage. It would have been all over the news.
Cities would be aflame.
Yes.
Vigils.
Riots, protests. Like, insane.
Doesn't fit their narrative, so they didn't want to cover it.
Crazy.
One white girl all the other African American. This guy was released 14
His
times.
mom said he should have
14
been
freaking
free
times
streets. His
he
own
was
mother,
released.
his
I
own
think even
sister.
just recently they released him to a psych hospital.
Yeah.
Like soft on crime 14 times. No, not soft on crime. We don't want lunatics like that walking around on our streets, but they didn't cover it because it doesn't fit their agenda. So they tried to bury it. Like, this is just what they do. Like, they're trying to grasp at straws. Charlie's assassin, was a Republican. Girl, no, he wasn't. The facts have come out. Like, stop grasping at straws. Just lie down.
Yeah.
You're done. You lost this one. Come to the right side,
You
or at
think
least
they'd
say,
be like, oh, you think
okay,
their eyes would be open
we
almost, and they'd
we
be
messed
like
exactly.
swallowing their words, but they refuse.
They'll double down. They'll triple down. Like Ilhan Omar, my gosh, that woman, the darling of the Democratic Party. Like, our darling was Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
Your darling is that person. You should be embarrassed. Like, I can't wrap my head around this. But I think you have to just like realize, like, there's just no saving those people. That you just like, it's just, you might as well talk to a brick wall, because the brick wall's not going to shoot you in the face. They just not. You can't reason with them. So I don't know how we like get over that part of it, how we get through to those people, because I really think they're far gone. I don't know. You think there's any salvation for them? I mean, God can do anything, but
Yeah, I do believe that, and I think that was part of Charlie's mission, and he did. I have seen so many people that were like, I didn't like Charlie, I didn't agree with Charlie, but I'm picking up my Bible for the first time in 20 years. I'm going to church. I'm scared. Like, my eyes are
Should be.
open, and it is like you said, there are people on that side, or we're on that side, that are starting to realize, like, and those are the ones that they're like still a shred of intelligence. They're hopeful. They're like, they're looking for something, because
They're not stupid.
yeah. And I think like that is one of the good that is going to come out of such a traumatizing, horrendous,
Crazy to think that
incident.
like God had this, like, when they say God has a plan, and like, of course,
Like, why was this the plan?
I mean, I kind of understand it, because I feel
Look
like
at the impact he's having.
right, because I feel like he's like a person of a century. Like,
Yeah.
he really is. He's one of those people that like God was like, the groundwork is laid out for you, and you're coming home
Yeah.
early.
But I mean, look at Jesus. He lived till 33.
Right.
And
So-
the impact that Jesus had, obviously, in 33 years was, like, I'm not saying Charlie Kirk was Jesus by
Right.
any means, but like,
One of those.
he had such an impact in such a short amount of time that I think like Christine Kane was like, I was so hopeful that God was going to save him. But when I realized that God took him, I was like, whoa, like,
Yeah.
we are in those end times.
Yeah.
And we need to wake up, and
Yeah.
we need to get everybody we can
Yeah.
and make heaven crowded, because if God is going to take a man like that, there has to be a reason.
Right.
What is the reason? Is his legacy, the impact that he had, and how he's going to turn. It's a turning point. It really is. It's a turning point for the country and for a lot of non-believers.
I know, like, I think the end of time scares people, and the timeline for God, end of time could be 100 years,
Exactly.
10 years, who knows?
We don't know.
But I
how long
also
the
think
last
this could
phase is.
be, like you said, a turning point where it's not the end time. It's actually like another Jesus revolution, where we really start flipping the country and we head into a different time.
Yeah.
So, I guess we'll see. But I really think, I mean, I'm not Erica, and I'm not his children. So it's like, why did my husband have to be a martyr? So it's horrible for them. But I just feel like, like, this was his divine plan. It's only someone like him could have such a huge impact, and then more in his death than when he was alive. So we have to, turn this into a positive. And you have one little person, even if it's like me in my little area that I live in, and you in here, and then you start to see those red dots pop up, and then that one red dot goes to talk to that red dot, and it's a small impact, but overall, like, I think it'll be a huge change. I hope.
I mean, just speak about, like you said, Erica, her courage. When I watched her speech, I was just like, I would be a disastrous mess.
Yeah.
And some people were like, well, it's so weird that she's just able to
Oh
like
my God.
stand there and talk about this. And it's just like, of course they'll make up anything, right, to attack her and Charlie, but just such a courageous, godly woman. And I think, of course, I'm sure she has her dark moments and her tough moments with her kids when she has to say, Daddy's on a work trip with Jesus, like when they're asking why he's not coming home.
Yeah.
And that broke my heart. But it's like she is such a woman of God that she sees
The
the
greater,
purpose
yeah.
and the picture and the greater good, and she's going to carry on his legacy. And like she said, she, the battle cry of her voice is going to be heard all over the country and all over the world.
Yeah, I
And
saw
with that
London
comes
going on
conflict.
there.
Yeah,
Like
London
people in the
marching
street,
in the
just like,
streets. The whole world is being impacted, and
yeah.
he had an impact much further than just the US. And people started to see that, and people were afraid of it, and people wanted to shut him up. And I guess that is a little scary, right, for the youth, especially when they're like, so is that what happens when I stand up for something I believe in, or when I talk about how I feel, or express my freedom of speech? And I don't know. I mean, it is scary, right? Because we saw the attempted assassination of Trump. And we
Lies.
saw, yes, and then we see this just right in front of our eyes on our phones, like,
Yeah. I mean, they're gonna get some backlash, I don't think it's gonna be to the extent of what, Charlie and Trump, obviously, they're high-powered people, so I don't want them to be afraid to speak up. I mean, like,
but I
that's
think, I mean, like, what other high-powered people too,
oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's where we're at
right?
right
Tucker
now.
Carlson, Candace Owens, like, I'm not saying, I'm like, I just think about all these people, like,
Yeah.
what they must be thinking and what they're feeling because, like you said, you went to church on Sunday and you're, like, looking for all the exits
True.
in case something
First
happens.
yeah, I thought the first 10 minutes, I'm like, "Okay, so God forbid something happens, Olivia's in
Yeah.
between me." I push her, and then I send John out, I'm like, "Go get Jax." Like, I
Yes.
have it every time I'm in church, I think that really quick.
Because you're like, people hate the church. These people are angry. These people will do anything. They literally will do
Yeah,
anything. And so it's scary. And we do
it
live in
is.
a nice area. We do live in, Newport Beach, but the fear has started to creep in. And I think it doesn't matter where you live.
Yeah.
It's a real thing. And yeah, going to concerts. Now I'm like, the
Oh
last
my
place I want to go
god.
to is a concert. And I used to love even like Christian concerts,
I
it's like, I'm scared to go places like that in these times, and
yeah,
it's terrible.
I mean, yeah. I mean, being in school is scary.
Yeah. Going to the grocery store, I just feel like going like, you just never
You
know.
have to just be vigilant.
You speak your truth and people know, "Oh, you work out here, you go to the store here, you do," like, I don't know, it's just, like, crazy thoughts are going through my head that, like I said, when dad would be like, "Watch out when you're doing this, watch out." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Dad, we're in Newport Beach, we're fine, like, we're
I'm
being
like
silly."
dad only in the way because I'm, like, anxious. Like, my brain only works like that because I'm constantly like, "If I'm here, how do I survive? If I'm doing this, how do I" Yeah, I just always, like, like, when I train in the gym, I'm like, "Okay, if the end of the world happens, can I pick up Jax and I run?" I'm like, "Liv's as big as me, so she's gotta just run."
Yeah,
Like, that's how my brain is just constantly working.
yeah,
So, it's not the same, but it's out of anxiety.
yeah. All right, so
You can
heavy
wrap it up.
episode. Not quite where we thought our second episode was going to go, but again, we can't ignore these issues.
We do. We want to talk about current events that
Yes.
sometimes are going to be political. I mean, I think this was more of a moral, faith-based discussion.
Yeah.
But certainly politics are a part of everyday life,
Right.
and it's not something that we're going to discuss all the time. But
No, but we want to be in tune with what's going on in the world and
yeah,
want to
and we don't want to be afraid
our
to speak up
perspective.
if something we feel like needs to be, even if it's a small platform. And I hate even saying that because we could have like 2 followers. I don't
Yeah.
know,
Like we
whatever.
say,
Yeah, I just
like our mom and dad.
yeah, exactly. We don't want our mom and dad to think the wrong idea. But you know what? We don't really have these conversations as a family.
No, we don't.
Now that I think about it, we
I
really
think we
don't.
have though. Like I went to dinner with mom and dad last week and we were talking about it. And I feel like all the other times when dad would bring up politics or anything, I'm just like, change the subject or like, okay, dad,
Yeah.
like we were very invested in this conversation. And like I said, I mean, final thoughts for me is just bringing it back to number one, faith for me, and then like intentional living and speaking up for something that I believe in. And I think in the past, and I do have a small social media platform, like I just kind of shy away from those things. And I don't really like controversy. I'm not afraid to like stand up for what I believe in. Like everybody knows I'm a Christian and that it goes without saying, but
Yeah.
I'm just not very outspoken. I feel like, one of my friends too, she just started getting back into her faith and she started posting about it. And she posted this amazing, beautiful thing about Charlie Kirk. But I responded and I said, very well said, friend. And she was like, oh, thank you so much. I was really scared to like offend. I tried to stay a little neutral because I don't want to lose clients. And I said, lose the
Yeah.
clients. And I'm like,
Lose them.
we can't be afraid of
Girl.
that. And she responded,
Better
like, you
off.
know what? I needed to hear that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's true. Like, I don't want to be afraid to lose. I'm going to like stay quiet and be silenced because I don't want to lose a client. Like that is just, yeah, that would be embarrassing. And I would feel really disappointed in myself if I allowed myself to continue living on that way. And I think I just want to use any platform we have, just like you said, no matter how big or small, to like speak light into the world and speak truth into the world and to encourage everyone to search for the truth. Like, don't just take what they're giving you and what they're saying in media and online and go down the rabbit holes of TikTok and all of that. Like, think for yourself, do the research, buy the book, buy
Yeah.
it's
It's literally like
probably like the most intimidating book you could
it's a
actually
book for
buy.
kids.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, well,
I hate that.
I know, but honestly, like I'm like, give me the Constitution for
You're
Dummies.
like, I'm
Because
no.
even the Bible is so like I read the Bible this morning and I'm like, okay, I'm reading Genesis. I'm like this. What the heck? Like the
It's like,
language is so hard.
it is
So I can
intimidating.
see why it's daunting. Because I could read a whole paragraph and be like, what the heck
Did I just read?
did read? And what are they trying to tell me? Like, please tell me in layman's terms.
But there are so many books that like literally will describe or
Yes. So
translate it into layman's terms.
that's what I
we
bought.
can understand. And
I
you
bought
need-
it. I bought the Constitution, and I even talked to Olivia, and she was like, "Girl," and I was like, "Girl, listen to me." It's like I bought the book for both of us because I want to be educated, and I want you to be educated.
Yeah.
I'll give it to you. I will buy you a copy from Amazon. It's $10. It breaks down the Constitution. It breaks down the articles. It's just like very easy in layman's terms, so I don't sound like an idiot when I'm trying to like speak on something.
And we don't want to be people that speak into air.
No.
Like we want to speak the truth. Like I said,
No.
I won't say anything unless I know it's
Even
true.
Republicans,
Or
like
defend anything unless
Right.
I know I'm accurate and I have facts to back it up.
exactly. That's a lot of times when I be quiet because I'm like, I mean, I believe in this shit, but I don't got nothing good to say, Like I do, but just what I even like people on the right, like I used to have friends and I'm like, girl, I believe everything you're saying, but you just ain't sounding good right now. Like you're not selling it to me because you sound like a clown.
That's the thing is like all the things you're hearing, it's if we just stay quiet, they will speak themselves into like an oblivion.
Yes.
They will speak themselves off the ledge. They will if you just sit back and stay quiet, it's like they will put their foot in their mouth 27 times. That's why I dare to say the most intelligent person in the room is the quietest person in the room. And that is so true. When you're like, why isn't that person speaking? They don't have an opinion. They don't want to stand up for anything. It's
You're
like
listening.
they're just taking it all in. And then when they're ready, they're going to just smack you with the truth.
Because they are defensive. They're gaslighting. It's like the more hysterical they get, the louder they get. That's when it's like they know.
Emotional. It's not even factual. It becomes emotional at that point. And I know I can be very emotional, so I have to make sure that what I say is backed up by facts, especially when I'm on a platform like this. Again, I don't want to put my foot in my mouth or say anything just because I heard it from somebody on TikTok.
Right.
Like I want to know at 40 years old that what I'm saying is the truth.
Yeah.
And that's a call to action for everyone. I think, especially after this, is don't just listen to what they're feeding us, and using our platform to speak light into the world right now. And I think that's what people want. They're looking for a healing. Like people are looking for the truth. They don't, this whole divisiveness of our nation, like the back and forth, the fighting, that it's just so, it is the opposite of where we should be going, Like,
Yeah.
we are the United States of America. We couldn't be far from united right now.
Well,
And
I think in the last week we actually made a lot of progress.
I think
So yeah.
the sides, but like the two sides against each other,
Well,
it's
we
like,
pulled some gold. We
ooh,
pulled some people
yeah,
this week that I would have never thought that we did. So
which is very hopeful. It gives me
it's
hope.
hopeful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, just speaking to your point about like what were you saying about losing clients and stuff? I think part of this too, and to an audience that we have, if any, we also want to show that you can have a different opinion.
Yeah.
We want to bring back like healthy
Yeah.
discourse. It needs to be a conversation. So we don't want you to just be like, they like Charlie Clerk, bye. Like,
Yeah.
because that's just feeding into the same
Right.
shit. Like, have a conversation with, okay, so why do they like them? Just the same with like, well, why didn't they like him?
Yeah.
Okay, so what are his points? Like, and with that goes with anything, like even in your own home. Like Olivia is very, she gets very defensive and emotional.
Yeah.
And I'm not like calling her liberal, but I'm like, take a second. Like, why are you so quick to be defensive? Why are you so quick to get emotional?
Yeah.
Like, not everything is an attack. I'm just having a dialogue with
Right.
you. Like, this is what I'm saying to you as your mother. And you can say, Mom, I don't like when you do this. Okay. Like, it makes me feel this way. Okay. Like, not everything has to be like,
Well, the defense comes from like an inner.
right. So I'm trying to pull that out of her. Like, where is this
Where
coming from? I know where it is coming from. Like, I've known her, like, traumas. I know, she's a kid of divorce and her dad and I have an acrimonious relationship. But I'm trying to get her to not be so defensive and emotional and just kind of take a breath and you need to learn to be able to speak. You have to hear,
Special guest.
special guest, the BIP. You have to be able to hear somebody's opinion and like listen and respect it and just say, okay, like I hear you. Like that's what people, they want to be heard. They want to feel like they have some sort of soundboard. And if you just,
my best friends are liberals and like,
who?
we ain't calling people.
Name them. Name them.
Excuse me, sir. Bentley's one of them. No, I'm just kidding. And, as I get older, it is harder to have conversations for sure. Because when I was younger, I was like, yeah, whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
It is harder. And I will say some of them, there's a little bit more of a wedge that's kind of growing, because I think that's natural when you have two people on different sides. But I love them exactly the same, like I don't have my clients who I'm going to train fill out a questionnaire telling me if they're Democrat or Republican. Like, I don't care. You know what I mean? It's like, we're all people. We're all going to have differing opinions. That's what makes us human. And Charlie said, the problem starts when we stop having the conversations. That's because when we're silenced or we feel like we're not having the conversations, that's when people get violent. That's when people start grooming these things. And that's when people get assassinated and when shootings happen in schools or whatever, because there's no conversation with that person. They feel like they're not being heard and they're not able to speak their truth because they're fear of backlash or they feel like they don't belong in the society. So we need to have these conversations.
And they're all
more than ever
truths that are universal truth. Right. So like another thing is like, this is my truth, which 100% you can have your convictions but there are some universal truths that everybody needs to accept.
Yes.
Point blank, period. Like there's your side, there's my side, there's some in the middle, there's in truth. And we have to acknowledge that too. We can't live in delusion land because that doesn't work either.
Well, that's why a lot of this feels more like good versus evil. I mean, it's just, there is no reasoning with it. It is just pure evil and good. And
yeah, I think I said did I wrap my stuff up? I think so.
I think
we don't want to beat a dead horse. So this is not going to be our topic of conversation all the time. We've already said that. It's going to be an ongoing dialogue because there's going to be a lot to come of this. So, we'll touch on it as we feel like we need to.
Yeah.
But yeah, we don't want this to be something that's like, I don't know. I can't even think of the word. Edit that out. We don't want this to be every single time we come together.
No, we're not going to be like looking at current events every time we sit down for a podcast and talking about that. But again,
it also doesn't make other shit like not important.
100%.
Like, I'm like, let's talk about housewives.
Exactly. Like, we're going to sit here and be like, so
On this episode, what did you think about? Yeah, no.
We can't. So
Yeah.
we're going to follow the temperature and the tone of the world, obviously, and what's happening around us.
Yeah.
But we do want it to be light and fun and real and,
Hard when it needs to be.
Exactly. And yeah, we just want to like bring you into our conversations and find some common ground and
we're welcome to questions too.
Yeah, questions.
You want to be able to tackle questions without getting defensive. We can work on that. Everybody needs to.
The hard questions.
Yeah, we'll answer hard questions.
But
be nice, You can just say girl bye if you don't like us.
Yeah. Girl bye.
That's an easy way to say it.
Yeah, someone's like, are you going to talk about Charlie Kirk on your episode? And I'm like, yeah.
How do we not? I mean, yeah.
Well, maybe just make it like 5 minutes.
No, girl.
Girl
bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
Webb looked at me. We were both like, girl bye.
Yeah, like that's somebody you can be like, I'm okay, like losing you. Like have a different opinion, but if you're going to be like celebrating this, then that's where I'm drawing the line.
Exactly.
I mean, like, I feel like if I heard somebody in my class doing that, I'd be like, honestly, get out. Like, just.
I know.
I don't want people like that around me. That's scary. Whatever. Okay, we digress. Anyways, next week's topic is going to be about, drumroll, my son, Jack.
The one and only.
The one and only. Very, very
special. Also one of a kind. No one like.
Seriously, one of a kind. You know, when you just when I just see him walk around, I'm like, this guy was meant for me.
Yeah.
Like, he's so quirky, and like, I just love him so much. When he does this little things, he's like, like, I'm like, that is my boy.
This literally just came to mind. I remember one time when you were talking about having kids and you're like, what if we have kids and they're like so weird?
Yeah.
And they're like literally like just asking you to do the most ridiculous things or playing with her. I forget exactly what you said, but you were like, what if we have like weird kids? And you're like, that's my kid. Like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
It's like,
embrace it.
Embrace it.
Because he is so awesome.
He's actually the coolest. He's not weird at all.
He's cool. He's vibes. That's one who does not like, there's no, immediately when you kind of have a little bit of like, oh, that's a person that doesn't look like me, or that's, he doesn't give a shit. Like, he's vibes only. You could be whatever color, whatever gender, like whatever, but is your vibe good or bad? And that's all I need to know. Like, he is so true to that. Like, there's no BS with him. And that's what's so great about him. So we're going to dive into that. I think because, what's going on with RFK and like all the stuff that's coming out. Again, a little hard. I don't know if I really want to get into that conversation yet. I want to see kind of where that happens. I'm talking about the, what's it called? The vaccines and how that's affecting things. But I kind of want to hit more of a positive light with him and maybe some education on what we did, how we found out, what our process has been, what his day-to-day looks like. I know there's a lot of other parents out there who are kind of in the same boat, whether you're in the beginning of your journey, in the middle of your journey, or if your kids, in teens or older.
And I think there's a lot to talk on about that, not because he's not my son, he's my nephew, and I don't have anywhere near the experience that my sister has had with her son. But there's a lot that I can touch on, and that in my relationship with him and seeing the changes in him because of my sister. And then also just going through IVF and doing like the testing of the embryos and like, what if they tell you that they know that this embryo is going to be genetically, different, because they can't tell you specifically at that stage. But it's like just, thoughts we both have on bigger pictures when it comes to autism or kids that are going to be a little bit different than,
as amazing as it is, if someone's going to say like, okay, you're going to get pregnant, but you're going to have another autistic kid, like, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Like, that's not saying that I don't love my son more than anything, but
let's save it.
The amount of work. What?
I said, let's save all these.
I know. Sorry. The amount of work is like, whoo, it's a full-time job, but it's worth it. He makes it worth it every day. So, yeah. So we'll be talking about that next week.
Just let us know if there are any topics or questions or whatever you want us to touch on in the future. We are very open and welcoming to that. And yeah.
Oh, just kidding.
But thank you guys for tuning in today and for listening and for supporting us. And we hope that, we incited some faith and hope in you guys in this episode, and hopefully not too much anger or backlash, but we'll
Wow.
we'll deal with it.
Well,
We're open to it. And anything else you want to say?
all I gotta say is, girl, bye.